What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria, and I just wanted to play with some new makeup. If you happen to be new to my channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, and I would like to hit that by the end of this month. The end of Pride Month. The day I record this, you're halfway through Pride Month. I don't know where you are at when you're and maybe it's not even Pride Month when you're watching this. Either way, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you check out my pinned comment. I will have some important links linked down there in regards to what's happening in this country. I live in the United States. There's a lot of things happening, but if you want to focus your money towards an LGBTQIA organization that's local to me, Sisters Pittsburgh is linked down there. You can donate to them or donate to any of the organizations I have linked down there to support any of those beautiful organizations. So let's just get into the video. I have some things I would like to show you. Some of it's like I've used on camera before, some of it I haven't. The first thing I want to play with today is this. This is from GLAMINATRIX Cosmetics. This was sent to me in PR. This is their Timeless Tones palette. It's very desaturated. It's very like up my alley. Like everything about this particular palette sings to me. So I want to do a look with this with you today. So I've used this a handful of times. I kind of do the same look with it every time. I'm going to try to switch it up maybe just a little bit for you today. I also, at any point in this video, might put my hair up because it's actually like hot in my room today. I talked about GLAMINATRIX a couple of times. This is like my third time, I think, receiving PR from them. I'm going to set my primer with the shade Lady, which is kind of always what I've done with this palette since I've gotten it. And I'm just going to set the base. I'm always kind of just like whelmed with their mattes. Like they're just not my favorite mattes to work with. So I don't know if something has changed or what, but this palette, and this also just could be due to like the tones of the palette. It's desaturated. I feel like my skin's kind of desaturated. I think that there's something to that working better on my skin, perhaps allowing the makeup to look a little more blended because my skin tone is like similar in saturation level to these shades. So I really have been enjoying the blend that I've been getting on these so far. And the reason I'm doing my eyes first is the shades are a little bit sparkly. They also sent me their brushes. These brushes, they only come in a set. They sent them when they sent the palette. They're synthetic, but they have wooden handles. They're really pretty. There's a bunch of different shapes. I've been liking them. I hope that at some point, maybe they can buy them and sell them as individual brushes. I think that would be the most worthwhile thing. I'm not going to sit here and review the brushes. Not a lot of people seem to care about brush content. I've posted brush content a couple of times. Perhaps when people just like ask me in a video, like, hey, what brush is that? If they've seen me use the brush many times, I think that's probably like the best way. But like, I kind of use the same brushes all the time. I'm going to go into the shade Polished, which is this gray down here. I'm going to use it as a transition shade. I don't know if I've used this shade yet. It's going to be similar in depth to the first shade I put on. I hope everyone stayed safe during the No Kings protests that happened on Saturday. Lots of scary stuff is going on in the world. An assassination happened in the US. There's deaths happening all over the world that are scary and shouldn't be happening. It is just, I don't know. Sometimes I have this feeling where it's like, I wish I was like alive in some kind of different era. Shade's pulling like the slightest bit green on me, so I'm gonna blend what I have on my eyes out a little bit. I'm gonna go on top of that with like a more beigey shade because I really don't want green. That's not my desired outcome. So I guess I'm gonna have like a little bit of a green hue, which is fine. I'm gonna also put a pink shimmer on my lids, and pink and green go really well together. But I don't know if you can tell, like, as I'm applying these powders, like that they're applying a little more blendy the other formulas I've tried from GLAMINATRIX. So I don't know. I don't know if they changed them at all, but if they did, I think that this particular matte formula is the winner. Then I'm going to go into the shade Sophisticated. Anyway, as I was saying, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you think like, I wish I was alive in another time. And it's just like, I don't know that there's any time that it was good. And that's like the really nihilistic way of like thinking about things, which is like also not the best. I don't know. It's just, if you're familiar with Kate Bush's catalog, she once sang in a song, and I can't think of what the name of the song was off the top of my head. The chorus is, just being alive, it can really hurt. And this feels like one of those moments. That song is about the passing of her mother. I think we can take that and apply it to things going on right now. Just being alive, it can be really hurt. It's really important as we like navigate the space, as we navigate the space of existing on this planet as it is right now, taking the breathers that you need when you need to for the sole purpose of recharging and being very in it and involved when you can, I think is probably the best way to approach the situation, because it is way too hard and there is way too much going on to be on all of the time. It's just, I don't think that should be expected of anyone, even though there's a million things going on. But like, how useful are you doom scrolling and just feeling worse and worse about yourself? Like, unfortunately, in some aspects, it's like you also have a life that you need to continue to live. And how do you balance that? I don't have the right answer. I'm doing the best I can. I get overwhelmed all the time. This morning I was crying. I was watching What's New in Makeup by Jen Loves, and I was crying, but I was already crying before that. I'm feeling like I'm always crying. Like if there's one thing I'm going to be doing, it's like crying these days. Being angry. Like the tears are from anger, scared. You know, there's just so many feelings I'm feeling all the time. And it is like, how do I touch down? I really like this shape of the GLAMINATRIX brushes. They remind me a lot of the really small brushes from Refer. This is the Refer 03. They're very similar. And they perform similarly too. They're both synthetic. They perform similarly too. They're both synthetic. So I like this shape. I can never have too many of these little small pencil because I always at some point end up using one of these small pencil brushes to blend out a shimmer. I forget and then I use it and then I remember immediately that I've used that. I've used it on a shimmer. Anyway, I hear you, I see you. I'm proud of you if you protested. I'm proud of you if you supporting the protests in whatever way you can. And if you happen to be someone who couldn't participate in them or you had to work, I hope you know, kept your sanity. If you had to like work in the cities where these were happening, like I hope you were able to like take care of yourself and figure that all out. Like it's just like, it's so much. And like, I don't know, it's like, we can't continue to just like, I don't know, exist on the internet. And like, I know I'm a place of refuge, but I'm also a place where like I'm a human too. And it's all weighing heavy on me all the time. And I don't want you to think it's not. And I mentioned that before, but I don't know. Cause I feel, and like, of course, like, you know, I have Tiff and like other people in my real life to rely on. Also in a very real way, like every time I sit here and film, I feel very alone. And I know that some of you may not have like a friend group or family or people that you can talk to and express these things to that you're feeling out loud. So I hope like in the moments where I choose to be like vulnerable and talk about these things, I hope that you feel a little more seen and you feel a little less alone because you're ultimately not. I'm going to go into the shade. We're going to focus on makeup now. We're going to turn that off. We're going to try to bring up the energy. I'm going to go into the shade Classy. I haven't used this shade yet. I haven't even swatched this yet. So it looks pink and that's what I'm hoping for because a lot of the other cosmetics I'll be using today are pink. But it might be a green duochrome. I'm like seeing a little bit of a flip in it. Some of you probably are like, why does Tom just like put makeup on their face without like really knowing what something's gonna look like? I don't know. Isn't that the spice of life? Isn't that exciting? Isn't that something? Channel updates. Critical Sass. I have it scripted. I just need to film it. It's gonna be just like a traditional Critical Sass. That's like what I have the energy for right now. So mic in hand talking. It will not be I won't be rolling around in my bed. I will not be interviewing makeup products. Like that's not what's gonna happen in this upcoming one. And then I will be doing a donation to Sisters Pittsburgh through Critical Sauce. I'm gonna do a premiere and I will be in the chat during the premiere. So if you happen to be in the chat and you like give us super thanks, that will go to Sisters Pittsburgh. But also I'm gonna encourage you to like donate directly to Sisters Pittsburgh as well. Any money that video raises during the time of June, like while it's alive in June, whatever proceeds come from it will go directly to Sisters Pittsburgh, which I'm very excited about to be able to do because it's always my best performing video whenever I post it. And then I'm going to go into the shade Delicate. I'm going to try to use it as a topper. So I'm going in with a fluffy brush, just picking up a little and stippling it over the pink. Oh, there might be a little bit of blue. Oh, it kind of just like made my own duochrome. Well, that will work. It's very pretty. So I'm excited about that. That's like coming up. If you are available when it goes live, I will be in the premiere chat and we can all hang out and kiki there. Got a lot to talk about in that video. And then after this video, I'm filming another video. I have some like bigger videos. So like Critical Sass coming out. The next video I plan on filming today, assuming I don't sweat through all of this makeup, is another scripted video that's been on the docket for a while. And then I'm working on a big project with complexion products. So a lot coming down the pipeline. Although the big project with the complexion stuff probably won't come out until July, but we'll live, laugh, love, and cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the eyes as is. I'm not gonna put on mascara. I kind of like the light wash of gray with the pink. I kind of really like that. So I think I'm just gonna leave that and I'll put mascara on later on in the video. Okay, let's revisit Creature of Light from Ritual Defy. I bought this for the Ritual Defy video and I have reached for it a couple of times since that video and I quite like it. I think it's really pretty, but I do think it kind of like has its like limitations. It's like so blue. on the skin after it like sets that I just sometimes I'm like, will it work well with like a warm base? Like if I wanted to do like a bunch of like warm makeup on top of it. They do sell different like undertones of these. I do mostly do cool tones, so that really isn't a super issue for me. I think I would love, and I might try this. I'm going on a little trip at the end of the month. I might try this like on my shoulders and stuff while I'm like out, just like have them have a little glow. I'm not gonna do that in this video. I don't know what top I'm gonna switch into after this, but probably a top with just as little coverage as this one because it's like, it's hot. It's getting hot in here. It's already hot in here, Nelly. It's not getting hot. It's been hot. And then for concealer, I'm going to use the Ritual Defeat Sorcery Concealer. It's so good. I've also used this a couple of times since that video. It is exactly, maybe not exactly, but very similar to the original formulation, which is really good for me. I've heard that some people that formulation didn't work. I'm also breaking out again, but I think that the adapalene I started using is like finally kicking in. It's not that bad though, but it is like definitely more, but it's not anything like whenever I started the red light therapy mask and like my skin was kind of like going crazy haywire. We love to see, we love to see that. So I'm just gonna let this sit on my face for a little bit. And I have like, yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff sitting in front of me. I'm actually really excited to tell you about. Not so much like that, like I think you need to run out and buy any of the stuff I'm about to tell you. And like, obviously that's kind of like always the case with me where it's like, I'm never like trying to like sell you all of this stuff. It could still be exciting makeup nonetheless. There's one thing I'm very excited to show you. That might be a surprise if you don't follow me on Instagram, which is okay. You don't need to follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna blend that out now. I had it sitting on my skin. I have been liking that method. And look at the coverage. Very lightly tapping it into my skin. I was watching TikToks yesterday for a little bit, maybe like a half hour. This person's TikTok kept popping up and they were applying makeup and like, I swear to God, at the end of the half hour, the live popped back up for me and they had just gotten to concealer, but like they were only doing base the whole time I was scrolling through TikTok. And my thought was like, am I not spending enough time blending out my complexion products? Because that was the vibe that I was getting because their complexion looked really flawless. I'm also a firm believer and it's like makeup shouldn't take that long to do and it can still look good. But like, it depends on how much time you really want to spend doing your makeup. Like if your whole thing is you want the most perfected complexion, then sure, spend that much time blending it out. But this, I don't know, that's me. I wanted to revisit the Fenty foundation that I tried for the first time in, I don't know, a video recently. So it's the Soft Lit foundation in the shade 125. It's so pretty. Now, I heard someone say that it's thick, and I guess it is thick. I didn't really mention the thickness because sometimes I've noticed that like thick doesn't like inherently mean bad in a foundation. It's more about like how much you're applying. So I have a lot of concealer on, so I'm not really using it for a ton of coverage. I only pumped one pump out. I don't even think I'm going to use the whole pump. And I'm going to try to get not like all of it on my face. So here's what I'll do. I'll just like put my brush in and then I'll like kind of swivel my brush around and then kind of just like on my mixing palette, just kind of like blend it into the brush. And when I go back to the palette to pick up more, I'm going to go into this area to pick up more of the foundation as opposed to like going in the thicker. So I'm just going to apply it where I don't have concealer. But I really thought this was pretty. It might still be a little too much coverage for my preferences. I did really like the way it looked. And this shade might be maybe a hair yellow for me, although the concealer did look a little bit yellow as well. I'm just looking a little yellow today, which is fine. Or maybe it's the contrast of like the blue with the beige in the foundation, the blue in the primer. Maybe that's what's making everything look a little bit more yellow. So I'm just gonna get a little bit more. I suggest if you are having issues with like something feeling too heavy or feeling like you're applying too much of it, I do think that applying everything either to like a mixing palette first or the back of your hand, like if you're applying foundation or concealer, like applying it to the back of your hand or a mixing palette first and like really loading the brush and getting just what you need to like apply is gonna save you a lot of product, right? Like I'm not gonna use what's left up there. Even blending it down into my neck area, like I'm not gonna use the whole pump. And it's like, it's not like I put a ton of makeup on, so the layer of makeup is doing its job and is a much thinner layer of makeup. And some of you probably like already know that, but I think that sometimes the amount of something being put on can really sway how you feel about it. Trying it with like less, like the Milk foundation, the first time I tried it, I applied like way too thick of a layer of it. And while it's still not like my favorite complexion product of all time, I have gotten it to like work for me, which when I first tried it that one time, I was like, there's never going to be a world in which I can make this work for me. But like, look at that. It's really good. It's really pretty. It's a gorgeous glowy finish. If that's your desired finish and you like a lot of coverage, I don't know, this might be something for you to check out. I don't know that this is like my desired coverage and finish always, but I think that this is a very good version of it, which is nice to see. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. I did a little more depotting, so I have Cool Candlelight from Phytosurgeons in my face palette now, and I also just went ahead because I'm gonna keep using Omen. I depotted Omen and also put it in my palette. So I'm gonna contour a little bit with Omen. I'm gonna put Cool Candlelight on. That's kind of the plan so far. Where's my kabuki? Cool Candlelight is so divine. One day I'll figure out a way for all of everything on my vanity to work for me, like in a way that will work. I have not figured out that balance yet. I'm gonna go into Omen, which I have been loving, and contour a little bit with that. And I did post a reel using Omen, and there's something about uploading short form content. It's like to TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and they like crush the files. So I film in 4K. My vertical is also in 4K, but I don't think any of them, I don't think TikTok or Instagram or YouTube allow you to upload in 4K. And that's really annoying because sometimes it will cut off text and it's like really hard to figure out. Like it's already hard to know what's going to be like not in the areas where like they put the comment, like, you know, like the areas that get covered by stuff in short form. Like it's already kind of like hard to figure out how to do that if you're not editing in their software, which I don't and I won't. Like that's not, I hate editing on my phone. I know that some people it's like really intuitive for them, but like it's not. So I edit my shorts the same way I edit my long form content. When I uploaded it, it like crashed the file and changed the like the colors. So, I don't know. It was really a frustrating experience for all because people were like, it looks really red. And I'm like, well, I would say there's like maybe a little bit of red in it, but it's still a contour shade. It's still very cool toned. And I need to actually kind of like cool it on using Omen. I need to finish Intuition. I know now that I have Omen, I'm not sure that I'll rebuy Intuition because I've been enjoying just like a more visible contour right now. And if I don't start using them together, like if there's not a way I start switching between them or start using them together, that's just like, I prefer Omen, I guess. Intuition is still very good and I still recommend it if you're not looking for a little more of a visible contour, but I also like the way that this one wears. So Intuition's really great. I love Intuition and I still love Intuition. Just maybe this is just a fling that I'm having with Omen, but I really like it. I'm just gonna use the Trixie bronzer. Actually, you know what? I will use Surratt. So I'll powder and then bronze. I also depotted my Gucci bronzer and I actually broke the case of the Gucci bronzer. But if you live in the United States, I should be very clear about this. For some reason, the Gucci bronzer in the US is like not refillable, but it's the same component that they sell internationally. There's a magnet in the component. And one of you told me this, but it was still glued. And so when I was poking it out, the pressure of like the glue releasing, because I didn't heat it because it was like not that solidly glued in there. It like I broke the container. Anyway, you also internationally, like if you buy from Selfridges or whatever, you can just buy the basically the Pro pan. Anyway, mine's depotted permanently now because I broke the container. That's also something that's been depotted. I'm still living my depotted journey life in case any of you wanted an update on that. One of you recently asked me to apply this from Trixie Cosmetics. This is their cream blush in the shade Baby. I bought this because it has like a little bit of purple lavender running through it. And I had the thought, that would look really good on my skin tone. And so I wanted to try it and I was right. It might be the same formula as the bronzer because it's really buildable in pigment. I could stop there. And I feel like the bronzer is a very similar way where you can just kind of like build it and build it. I'm just pulling what I swatched on my hand off and putting it on my face. So you do something softer and more demure. I don't really drag. Even though I think that stick products should be draggable on the face, I don't really do it. But I do think if you design your product like this, it should be a way that one could apply it without disturbing their foundation. Look at that color. It's just so dead on. Oh, you know what? I'm going to grab Wisp. I have a feeling that some of you will want to see this swatched against Wisp from Phytosurgeons. I do think they're different. This wears more as a lavender on me than I feel like Wisp does. Wisp is a little more warm on my skin tone. I don't know what it is because I know that Wisp can be very like cool toned on some people, but I feel like this is better. Like what I have going on my eyes, like it looks a little bit cooler toned. Let me swatch it against Wisp. And then I will say my thoughts on the color selection. Okay, so there's Baby and then there's Wisp. So they're not really close. It's interesting seeing Wisp next to it because it looks more gray. I don't know, but like I just feel like on my complexion it just is like a little bit of like a warmer lavender. I don't wear a ton of like poppy cheeks like that, but I also feel like once I get Baby on my face, it doesn't look as bold as like this really thick swatch of it. Both blushes are really beautiful, and I've been very into my purple gig recently, which is why I bought Baby at all. I'm gonna apply a little bit more. The shade selection of the Trixie cream blushes, I just wish there was like more. Everything is really bright, and so I think that of the shades that are currently available in this formula, this is like the one that I would be most likely to wear, which is the one I bought. But there's like a lot of bright colors. They do apply more like a watercolor, as you've seen in this demonstration here. So like that's also something to consider. I don't know. I think this formula is really nice. I would love to see like a cult classic blush color in this formula. I think that would be like really beautiful. I think it's something that they should consider. Anyway, basically, anytime I have a thought, I do DM Trixie Cosmetics and I'm like, what if you did this? And they're like, we'll think about it. Can you think about it just like maybe a little bit faster? It's a really great idea. All right. And then on top of that, I'm going to apply Ghost Light from Rituel Defeat. And this is how I usually apply their highlighters. I'm taking the BK 109 and I'm just going to tap that on top of Baby. And I feel like it always gives like a nice thin application, but still very visible, but also still very natural looking. Because sometimes if I go too heavy handed with a cream highlighter, it kind of gets out of hand. Just doing that is like the best way for me to get the best results. Okay, so I have two different powders I want to play with. One I've already featured on the channel. I do want to set my eyes again with the powder in this blush duo from Charlotte Tilbury. This powder is interesting. So it reminds me, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. I haven't used the formula I'm about to talk about in a second. It reminds me a little of the Pat McGrath Baked Under Eye Brightening Powder. It's a powder that I think looks so good and so blurring and brightening, but there is a limit to how much you can apply before it becomes a problem. That was just enough, but I have gone overboard and made my under eyes look so old and decrepit, but it is really lovely. So I saw on a Meet Beauty Talk, there's, I guess, like Asian only release of like a beige version of this. And I think that powder is also a different color. And then the peach one also had like a deeper setting brightening powder. I think that this powder should get its time in the sun. And I don't know if that was like to soft launch this powder or this blush formula, but both are very good. Like they're both very good and I would love to see it. I don't feel like people really care about the blushes that look a little bit like nipples. Like I don't think people really care that much about those anymore. It could be time for them to just do a powder blush revamp. They are launching cream blush sticks, which I have my eyes on. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if that beige one's gonna come to America. I hope it does because the blush looks really pretty. And I think I would be able to use the powder in that one, but I wouldn't have been able to use the powder in the deeper one. And of course I do want to see it go deeper too. Like I just think I don't know, I think it's a great formula. I don't know, I would just love for more people to be able to use it. But the next product I'm going to talk to you about, I'm actually quite excited about that this brand reached out to me. About Face reached out to send me some PR. Now it was pretty informal. It was through Shop My Shelf, which to get into the nuances of how one might be approached from a brand to receive PR, there's a couple of different avenues. Shop My is, I would say, like the least personal avenue, but you know, I must have done something in order to get their attention. They asked if they could send me some stuff and they did. So I chose a couple things. I did try the foundation again. I'm not doing that in this video, but I'm playing with it again. So that should be interesting. And my thoughts on it did change a little bit. Stay tuned for that. Powder I was kind of interested in. I don't know. I feel like no one really talks about this powder. I think I've seen a couple of people try it, but I guess it became no one's favorite powder. And the packaging of this is really interesting. There's not a lot to hold on to on the bottom. Like you have to hold on to this to be able to turn it. So I don't know accessibility wise how that would be, but it is square. So I think I've heard in passing that like square is a little bit easier for people to grip as opposed to something smooth and round, but there isn't anything grippy on the packaging. I do think this packaging is like pretty ingenious. It's a mesh top, but I think this is the more important part. This is interesting that I find it, this is exciting. So this cap, there's like this part right here is deep and it goes into the mesh hole. Most of the time, whenever you're like pumping out a loose setting powder into a cap, the cap is like wider than the part of this component. And then the powder kind of gets everywhere. But I think because everything in the cap will, in theory, fall back at least into the black rim, it makes it much less messy. So as weird as like I thought this packaging looked when I first got it in my hands, I was like, but it kind of works. I'm having basically a similar affliction with this powder that I've had, because I have tried this powder a couple of times. I've been using it in my wear tests of the foundation for the big foundation video. Just enough is so good. I'm going to just apply it to this half of my face. I'm just using like a big powder brush. I've used it with a puff too. I do have a puff. I never really use it on camera. I don't really use it also very much. I'm doing my makeup in my free time, but Beauty Blender puff. So I've used that. We'll apply that a little more around the nose and on the nose. Look how blurry it is. It's really, really beautiful. And in my wear testing, it does pretty well at keeping the oil at bay, especially with like some of the foundations I already know get glowy and break through oil pretty quickly. There's no talc in this formula. That'll be a benefit to some of you, a detriment to some of you. But I don't know. I don't feel like in this formula particularly that I feel like I'm missing out on something by not having the talc. Like I think it works really well. How much it mattified too. Just like, because I don't powder like the highlight portion of my face. So like if you look right here, I think it's really good. I'm a pretty big fan of it. It comes in many shades. Like there's a pink shade. I almost requested the pink shade. I don't know if I care enough to get into like the pink powder of it all. I think it would actually work quite well on my complexion. And I think that there's a little bit of a pink hue to this powder, which I put under my eye. So maybe there is something to it, but they have a pink one and I know they have deeper ones because their foundation range goes pretty deep. I know that they have, well, I think in theory they should have a pretty good shade range, but I remember when I was picking my shade out, there was maybe 4 or 5 options other than mine. I think that's so good. I mean, this gets all kind of fingerprinty, but I don't know. I like it. I'm in my testing phase with it still. My thought is, so far, I think I'd like to keep it. Although I'm going to keep using my Givenchy until that's used up. Once I'm done testing this, I'll go back to Givenchy, but I think I'm going to hold on to it. I quite like it. For the lips, I'm going to just line my lips really quickly with Mayfair from Merit. This was PR. And then I'm going to use the Tubby Custard Lip Gloss from Trixie Cosmetics. I don't know, the formula of this Trixie lip gloss leaves me with a lot to be desired, but I think it's like such a cool color. I know a lot of brands make like these baby pink colors, but I just thought it would be great with today's look. I might not wear this in the next video. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Also, kind of like an update on the Thorn Oil while we're talking about lip products. I have been wearing it. Like, I don't know. I really do think this is really a matter of shades because I do feel as though once it sets on my lips and then like the black is kind of like staining my lips, getting that off is kind of annoying. And also like I'm always blotting it to get my desired finish of it. I'm going to apply the Ritual Defy Levitation Lash Mascara. Now, update on this. I can't stop wearing it. The update is I actually quite like it. Like a lot. I don't know. I haven't worn it like all day, but I've done some 4-hour wear testing of it and I haven't had any issues with it, but I haven't been out in the humidity with it, which would be like the big test to see if it passes. But I actually quite like the way it makes my lashes look. I like it, but I also don't know that I would want to pay the $28 for it again, which I think is what it costs full price. We're gonna give this all a second to dry, like the mascara, before I go on to the dreaded final step, which I think is gonna ruin everything. But one of you asked me further about it, and so I will tell you. In a previous video, I mentioned that Andromeda sent this over to me in a little care package. So this is the Hourglass Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. Shake well and hold 10 inches from the face, close eyes. So I'm going to spray it to half of my face, and I think you'll kind of see immediately why I don't like it. We'll dry it too. So now that it's kind of like mostly dried, you can see how glowy it is. And it's not like a shimmery kind of glow. Look, like this side's still glowy. I didn't spray this side yet, but like this side is almost kind of like wet looking. The thing is, it just kind of like stays wet looking. I feel like whenever it was powdered, there was like less texture coming through. It's like I like got my desired finish and then I sprayed my face and it's like it ruined it. It's not always the case with powders. Obviously I've been liking the Huda powder for blurring, but like I don't feel like whenever Fix Plus sets that it makes my face look this wet. It's just like it makes my face look wet. I think for people with dry skin that could be a desired look for you. And I don't always mind something a little dewier looking, but like I don't know, like I don't need that much. I have used it and worn makeup for a longer period of time, and I do think it like does make your makeup last longer in a really undesired finish for me. The first time I used this was on like a patron and members live stream that I like really quickly did. Like it was like not really a planned thing. And I sprayed my face and I was like, not that. I thought, because it's just a soft focus, and I was like, oh, it's gonna like work just as well as the Huda, and that's like not the case. It's just simply not the case. I'm gonna take my powder puff and just go over the areas I want to stay more matte. I wouldn't buy this for that reason. I do spray my face a lot. Like, I spray a lot of spray on my face. Is that a sin? Is that a sin? I don't think it's a sin. I can do whatever I want. Anyway, that's like my trying new makeup pink look deal. So let me run through some of the stuff that hasn't been featured. I do really like the Timeless Tones palette. I said this in a short about it. I do think there's real big palette of the year energy for me. Now, obviously that will also depend on what your desired kind of color story is, and we still have a whole lot of year left to go, but this is like far and away the best GLAMINATRIX palette I've like ever tried. It has beautiful texture. Some of them are sparkly, some of them are a little more smooth. I really like this shade Dignified up there. I wear it a lot. I've worn it a lot. It's a really beautiful palette. I'm excited to continue playing with it. I think this is such a great release from them. I don't think I would have bought any of the others, or if I did buy any of the others, that I would have been completely satisfied with any of those other eyeshadow palettes from GLAMINATRIX. This one, if I would have spent my hard-earned money on it, I'd be like, ah, this is an eyeshadow palette that's really worth spending money on, in my opinion. However, you do not have to spend money on it. Those are very common tones. The sparkles are really pretty, but I also think that this is the best they've done with mattes. Not like color story wise, like the most out there revolutionary pushing things forward. So if you already have textures and mattes you like that are desaturated, then you don't need that. It's just a very nice one if that is something that you're in the market for. Baby from Trixie. It's like not a blush shade I thought I would really like, but it's so pretty. And I really like it. I like the formula. It reminds me a lot of the bronzer formula. So definitely up there. It's not a color I'm going to wear as much as the bronzer, so this will probably last me a lot longer than the bronzer ever would. I think it's beautiful. The Creature of Light I'm still really enjoying from Rituel de Fille. Same with the concealer. Looks great. I think I didn't love this. Okay, so with the Fenty foundation, it's like I really loved it the first time I put it on because I was like surprised by how good it was. Not that I'm like underwhelmed with it this time. It's just like now that I know that's what it's like, it feels like less special this time. But I still think it looks really great on my skin. Keep in mind that this is really affecting the finish of everything that's going on. It looks really good. It's looking like it's going to wear very well. Ghost Light from Rituel de Fille. Look at that. Like, look at that highlight. Incredible. My favorite highlighter formula. I've mentioned that before. The About Face powder, I think it's really good. Very into that. These are unavailable now, so no, I don't think there's anything worth reporting back on. I will try this out in the humidity. I just have been scared to the levitation lash, but I have been liking the way my lashes have been looking with it. So there's something to it. I do quite like it. I wasn't expecting to like it. I was nervous. I was skeptically enjoying it so far, but I think it is just good, in my opinion. It's a mascara that's doing a lot of things for me. And then the Tubby Custard Gloss. I love the color. And I think that once it's been on my lips for a minute, it's less weird and sticky and stringy. It's just like when I first apply it, I don't love the textural experience of it, but I do like the color. And I think my lips look good, especially with the lip liner. So all in all, I didn't even apply bronzer. I don't think I need it. So I think we're good. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the video. Keep your eyes peeled for the Critical Sass premiere. That will show up on my channel before the video pops up. So I'm going to try to upload Critical Sass a couple days before I premiere it. So that way everyone has time. Like, not that you need to like rearrange your life to come hang out in Critical Sass, but it'll let you know when it is so you can make yourself available if you'll already be at home and you can join the live chat. Make sure you check out my pinned comment for resources to help immigrants in the United States, Sisters Pittsburgh, Palestinians. There's a lot of links down there. There's a lot going on in the world. All great causes. Just pick one if you have the additional funds, or raise awareness with people in your real life about things like that. It's always helpful. And I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow your hoe and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. It's out.